Thousands of Americans are being laid off all across the United States by major corporations, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be stopping anytime soon. But unfortunately, that's not the worst of it. We have a major bank, New York Community Bank, is in serious jeopardy. Now, if you don't know who this is, they are the actual bank that helped save a massive bank that collapsed that was called Signature Bank. But after saving that bank, now they're in serious trouble. Now, the crazy part about this is the Fed wants us to believe that everything is perfectly fine. Things are right on track as they should be, but that's not the case because we have major layoffs and major banks in trouble, and this is not good for the US economy.
We just want to see more good data along those lines. It doesn't need to be better than what we've seen or even as good. It just needs to be good. And so we do expect to see that.
So in today's episode, we're going to cover all the massive layoffs that are happening across the United States that people are not talking about, and a website that I found that you can use to see what's going on in your region. Now, also, we're going to talk about this massive bank and another bank that is doing all types of funny business out there and charging people fees without their knowledge. And we're going to talk about the interest rates, of course, that continue to climb and making it unaffordable for Americans to buy homes or pretty much anything. You're probably wondering why I'm going to talk about layoffs, because it is huge and it is a big looming number that is growing faster than we've ever seen before. Now in 2023, now I'm going to show you as an example this actual website that we're going to put up on the screen. Now this is for tech job layoffs. In 2023, there were 26,000 layoffs in the full year. In 2024, we are already up to 39,000, and February is not even over yet. This is a huge red flag that everyone needs to pay attention to. The website that you can use to go check out all the layoffs, besides Google of course, is going to be layoffs.fyi. Now let's go over the list together. Amazon has been in the news because they are in fact cutting jobs across the United States. Now BlackRock cuts 3% of their workforce. Square is laying off 1,000 employees. Citigroup, the massive bank, is going to cut 20,000 jobs. Now they're also going to close locations in specific states and cities. We don't have that exact location yet. Now Discord is laying off 17% of their employees. Duolingo, the famous language app, cuts 10% of its contractor workforce. Now remember, I told you there's something huge that's going to happen in March with all these contractors. You need to go watch that video. Now also, eBay to eliminate 1,000 or 9% of their full-time employees. Macy's cuts 2.3 thousand jobs and closes 5 stores. Microsoft lays off 1,900 of their actual employees. Activision and Xbox employees combined. PayPal cuts 2.5 thousand jobs. Riot Games cuts 530 jobs. SAP is going to be laying off 8,000 jobs. Twitch, the popular streaming source, laying off 500 jobs. The major online furniture store Wayfair is laying off 1.6 thousand of their employees. UPS, I don't know if you remember this massive story where UPS was going to be paying their workers $170,000 a year. Guess what? They are set to lay off 12,000 of their employees. I guess to make way for that pay that they're gonna have to pay all these other employees. Now these are just some of the stories that we found online, and this is exactly why we are going to break over 40,000 layoffs in the United States in just the first 2 months in 2024. Now, a quick word from our channel sponsor, Moomoo. Moomoo is not just a stocks app. Now, you can actually get up to 15 free stocks with a qualified deposit, but it doesn't just stop there. I decided to go deep dive into their actual app to see how good it truly is. And when I went in there, I just chose Apple and I looked at it and I said, geez, this thing really breaks down everything about the company. Anything in the news, any type of issues you're having with the company, it's going to be broke down, everything inside of the app. But they don't just stop there. They actually have a savings account for uninvested cash. Now, right now, if you sign up, you're going to get 5.1% APY as the base rate, and then you're going to get an additional 3% APY for the first 3 months. That's 8.1% APY on uninvested cash. You just put your money in there, let it grow, and that's all you have to do. It's just that simple. Link is going to be in the description for the Moomoo app. So what's causing the rise in layoffs? Now, some companies are looking to cut costs because interest rates are way too high and they just can't continue to borrow money at current rates because it's just too expensive for businesses. And now others are looking to shed those employees that they hired during the hiring binge for the pandemic. They realize that they don't need these people anymore, and guess what? They can't afford them anymore. Now, other businesses are refocusing to invest in artificial intelligence. AI is taking over so many different jobs and so many different positions, and Americans are not prepared for that. Last part's the most important. Why does New York Community Bank even matter, you ask? Well, they matter because they were the bank that picked up a lot of mortgage loans and a lot of actual commercial real estate loans from Signature Bank when Signature Bank went under. Well, guess what? More than 60% of those loans were really bad loans that are actually going to have to get refinanced. And guess who's holding the bag? New York Community Bank. And what that means is these loans were written when interest rates were really low, and now those loans have to be refinanced. And guess what? Those loans are totally worthless because now that commercial real estate isn't worth the same amount of money, because guess what? People are working from home now. People are remotely working all across the United States, making these office spaces useless, and all of these loans are worth nothing. And this is a huge problem for New York Community Bank because they're holding billions of dollars in these loans. And guess what? This is the worst part about this whole story. Because they're holding billions of dollars, it pushed them into a different bracket, and they're actually supposed to hold a certain amount of reserves in cash. And guess what? They don't have that in reserves in cash. So if they don't have that money in reserves in cash, and people make a run onto these banks and start pulling their money out of their bank, now you have a bigger problem. Now the bank will completely collapse, and it will start actual domino effect with other smaller regional banks around it. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, it's not that serious, it's going to be fine. No, this is not going to be fine. This is a huge problem that can really spiral out of control very quickly. So the real question I'm going to ask is, how many of these other regional banks are also holding bad loans and don't have enough cash on hand? And is the government going to bail them out like they've done before? I mean, what's going to happen if these banks can't pay these loans? If they refinance them at a higher rate and they start to default, banks are going to start to default on loans. People say that's not possible, but I believe it's possible. As an example, Elon Musk, he got tired of paying for this building that was way overpriced, and he said, you know what, screw it, I'm not going to pay it. It's going to be cheaper for me to get sued in court than for me to actually continue to pay this, so let them sue me. Take me to court. I'll just pay the fines and be done with it. If you have your money in any smaller regional banks, you need to pay attention to your statements. Pay attention to your actual bank account. I'll give you a great example. Truist Bank is a regional bank that is in the Carolinas and across the East Coast. I recently caught them charging my actual business account and my personal account a late fee on the credit card. I'm like, why are we getting charged late fees? All these are on auto payment. Well, it turned out that somebody inside of Truist Bank actually changed the dates on my credit card payments for my personal credit card and my business credit card, causing me to rack up over 5 months of late payments. And I didn't see it because I hadn't logged into the account. It's on auto payment. I don't really use those cards, I'll be honest with you. And so I contacted them, and they admitted that, guess what? Somebody actually changed the date, and this was an actual systematic problem across all of Truist's actual clients. And this happened in October of 2023. That's when it all started to happen. Then they passed me to a supervisor. Then they passed me to an actual manager, and then the manager denied everything after I had them on a recorded call admitting to it. So if you're with Truist Bank, this is a really huge warning. Pay attention. I'm going to close those accounts. I'm going to get my money out of there because I don't trust them. They are literally charging me late fees for no reason when they actually were the ones who changed the dates on both of my accounts, my business and my personal credit cards. And if you watched my previous video, I've been having issues with these banks, with Pentagon Federal Credit Union, now Truist Bank. So it doesn't matter if it's a traditional bank or if it's a credit union. Do not keep all your eggs in one basket. We cannot trust these lending institutions because at the end of the day, they don't care about us. They just care about making money. Be careful where you keep your money at, ladies and gentlemen, because it's going to matter in 2024. As you can see, there's so many issues that are still looming in the economy that everyone is ignoring. I hope you enjoyed this video. We covered a lot about the economy. Make sure that you watch the next video because it is about another credit union. And if you felt that it brought you some value, make sure that you don't forget and subscribe to increase your credit score.